Headline this morning, Cleveland plain dealer, changing of the guard. Two guards, changing teams, changing cities, and we'll see how it's going to work out. To talk about it, let's welcome in First Take Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A., I'm going to ask you flat out, who won the trade?
I think you got to give the slight edge to Cleveland. It's not that Kyrie is not big time, and obviously that's what Boston wanted. Well, when you take into account the fact that Cleveland has a guy that averaged 28 points per game last year, only making about $6.2 million this year, by the way, in Isaiah Thomas. You add a guy who's more than a serviceable player on both ends of the floor in Jay Crowder. Plus, you get an unprotected lottery pick that could end up being #1 overall, because we certainly don't expect much from the Brooklyn Nets this year in terms of wins on the NBA level. The fact is, you got to look at it from that perspective and say to yourself, you're the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know, you put yourself in a good position. If LeBron James stays, you know, it might entice you to keep Isaiah Thomas, assuming he's healthy and those hips are not bothering him, and he's able to be as productive this upcoming season, as he was last year. But if LeBron decides to leave and you decide to go in a different direction, as our guy Woj pointed out, you're talking about LeBron making $33 million this year, Isaiah Thomas at $6.2 million. That's about $40 million you can shave off of your cap. You do that and trade Kevin Love in the event that you decide to do that and retool. You're definitely in a position to do that as well. So considering the versatility that the Cleveland Cavaliers have available to them, I definitely think you have to give them an edge. But don't sneeze at what Boston did either. Kyrie is big time. He's a big time scorer. Coupled with Brendan Haywood, they should do some damage in the Eastern Conference. And what we saw in the Eastern Conference last year should be somewhat replicated. These two teams should meet, and the series should be far more interesting this upcoming season than it was in last year's Eastern Conference Finals.
Does this trade set either team up to challenge Golden State?
Well, it should set Cleveland up, because the fact is that if you think about what Cleveland has done this offseason, you lost one starter, but you've acquired at least 3, possibly 4. You got Jay Crowder, you got Isaiah Thomas, you acquired Derrick Rose in the offseason in free agency as well. So when you look at it from that perspective, you've not only added quality starters to a franchise, you've also added more depth because you have more bodies. You take that into consideration, what are you really sacrificing from a scoring standpoint between Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie Irving? Isaiah averaged more than Kyrie did, even though Kyrie had to give the ball to LeBron sometimes as well, and Isaiah didn't have that luxury. So you can expect a dissipated number in part of Isaiah Thomas, but the bottom line is offensively, you still have the level of production to some degree that you had from Kyrie Irving. You have additional bodies, which means you have additional depth, and you still have LeBron James. If that doesn't position you to challenge the Golden State Warriors, I don't know what does. There are no excuses in Cleveland. The roster that you have in place should definitely come out of the East and should definitely give anybody in the NBA a run for their money for an NBA championship. Dan Gilbert, the owner for the Cleveland Cavaliers, has lived up to his bargain with LeBron James. LeBron James mandated that you be willing to trigger those luxury tax numbers, that you make sure you don't curb spending, that you go out there and you cut those checks. This man has the highest payroll in the NBA. He's had one of the top 2 highest payrolls since LeBron James returned to Cleveland. He has lived up to his end of the bargain in terms of his willingness to spend money. Kobe Altman showed that he knows what he's doing with this deal, and you still have LeBron James. There are no excuses in Cleveland.
Before I let you go, Elle and Kevin touched on this with Adrian a minute ago. I want to ask you, what does the trade do to LeBron's chances of staying in Cleveland beyond this season?
We don't know, because LeBron James likes to keep everybody's guessing. You know, he wants to make sure he can write his essays to Sports Illustrated or do press conferences announcing where he's taking his talents. He likes to keep everybody in suspense, because as great of a basketball player as he is, as great of a businessman as he is, he's also great at marketing and keeping himself as the center of attention. That's one of his greatest skills. And it's no different here. He wants to keep everybody guessing, wondering what he's going to do. You've got a lot of people that believe he's going to stay in Cleveland because he doesn't want to leave again. You have a lot of people who believes that he'll end up in L.A. Those are the 2 scenarios. Who knows what else he has up his sleeve? And to be quite honest with you, who the hell cares? It's about this upcoming season, 2017, 2018. What are you going to do? Because LeBron James is 1-3 in the last 4 NBA Finals and could have easily been 0-4. So the bottom line is, I don't care about any of that stuff right now. It's about what he's going to do this upcoming season and whether or not Cleveland is going to get it done. Because I'm going to repeat myself again, there are no excuses.